Big Footy Port Adelaide podcast is proudly sponsored by New Vision.
My team, kinda power. I love the power. I love the power.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Big Footy Port Adelaide podcast, a weekly show about all things Port Adelaide Footy Club. I'm your host, Macca 19, and joining me back on the podcast, as always, as co-host, Fishing Rick. How are you, buddy?
Oh, Macca, I've got the magic in me.
Do you?
I don't want to sing the song, but you know the song I'm talking about?
Oh, barely.
The magic in me. I saw the small warrior is now a club ambassador.
He is, absolutely.
What is going on there? The legend.
Good on him. Good on him.
Hey? Well, die-hard Port fan. What an honour.
Good on you, Taz.
Yeah, he'd be over the moon.
Absolutely.
It's great news.
It is, absolutely. And back on the podcast again, we've got HaroldOliver.
Thanks for the invite, guys. How are you?
Our pleasure. Yeah, very good. Very good.
You see, Harold, how he tried to cut me off from queuing in my Lord Macca bit that I like to throw in there?
I thought I did it well.
I wish he told you he knew the song, so you didn't have to sing it.
Mm. Well, look, let's get straight into it. Before we go into the preview, let's have a quick chat about the main thing that's going to happen this week, which is Travis Boak's 150th game. Our fantastic captain and leader. Obviously, he was pick 5 in the 2006 draft. He burst onto the scene halfway through 2007 and hasn't really looked back. And as I said on the forum this week, I always thought he was a good player. But as soon as he took on the captaincy, he's become an absolute champion for the Port Adelaide Footy Club.
Have to agree with that. It's been just a privilege watching his development too, from that really fresh-faced young kid to who he is now. He's certainly a true gentleman as well as being a fantastic player and captain.
Yep.
Skillful, talented, loyal.
Very loyal.
They would be the three things that I think of with Travis. And you're right, guys. He's really stepped it up a level since he's taken on the captaincy. And, I guess there was a bit of the jury was out in 2012 when, I guess now with hindsight, that foot injury was really hampering him with his disposal and stuff. But he's once he's recovered from that, he's become an almighty deliverer of the ball and a beautiful player to watch.
That's it.
And he can kick a clutch goal. He's proven that over his captaincy too.
Oh,
certainly has.
Shots.
I don't think we've had a captain since Timmy G that's been able to sort of, put a club on his back and say, "Come with me, boys." Maybe Matty Primus, but I reckon Travis beats him. I reckon he's our best AFL captain. Jeez.
What about Treaders?
Well, Treaders only captained throughout his sort of knee injuries, really, unless you count 2004.
I would. He was captain.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean that's probably the best individual season I've seen as a captain. I would say with Treaders and maybe sort of Timmy G 1994 and Russell Johnson 1990. Them and Trav last year, absolutely fantastic.
Let's see where he finishes when his career's over, and I reckon we'll get a good placing of where he is on the captain list.
Yep.
It's been a good start the last 2 years, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
We got
the power to win, power to roll, come on, Port Adelaide aggression, we are the power from Port.
Well, look, the game we're going to be talking about is Port versus the Gold Coast at Metricon Stadium on Saturday afternoon. We've got a 3-1 win-loss record against the Suns. The last time we met away, we won pretty comfortably last year by 7 goals early in the season. What are we expecting from this game, boys?
Rain.
Yes.
Who are the ins and outs?
Well, look, we've got one change. Mitchell is omitted, which will make a few people happy, I guess. And Matty White comes back in. Aaron Young misses out. He's going to be playing in the SANFL. He's one of the emergencies as well. But it's great to see Whitey back in the side. I think we really, really need his run and carry this week.
He's an upgrade on Mitchell, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Similar sort of player, but a big upgrade.
Yep.
And what about the Gold Coast changes?
They've got a few changes. Stephen May is out with a hamstring. That's probably the big one for them. He's their leading rebound 50 player, and you would have thought would have gone to Schultz. And they've also dropped Matt Shaw and Aaron Hall as well. Seb Tape's in, the South Australian, for his first game for the season. Charlie Dixon's back in. That's a big inclusion for them, and also Timmy Sumner to play up forward as well.
I thought Dixon was injured, but obviously not.
No, he's back in the side. That's a big bonus for them.
So did Trent McKenzie pass his concussion test?
Well, he's named in the side. I guess they'll wait and see. Yep. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Sam Day, whether he does play up forward as he has been, or whether he does go back with May out of the side. Because I guess Thompson will probably play on Schultz, you'll think, but they need a match up for Westhoff.
So that would be McKenzie or Day, yeah.
They would be an interesting matchup. Sandy's supposed to be so athletic, but is he as mobile as Westhoff?
He's not, but you would think if Day does start back, he would end up going on Schultz and Thompson would play on Westhoff.
I guess it's the advantage of having that versatile type player that can go forward or back, I guess, though.
Yeah. That's right.
And I agree with Harold. I mean, I think White's probably a little bit of an upgrade on Mitchell, but I think even Mitchell probably knew that he was in trouble to hold his spot when Matt White was ready to come back in.
Who do you guys think is going to be the sub?
Who's on the bench?
Who is on the bench?
You can't really go by that, but it's Cam O'Shea, Kane Corns, Matt White, and Andrew Moore. I think they might start with Monfries as the sub this week.
Oh, that's
Monfries.
Yep.
I'd like
inside
that.
That's going to be my surprise pick, is Monfries as sub. I think he'd actually work pretty well as a sub because he's got the fitness. He can run pretty hard. He can kick a goal, play through the middle. And it might be a little bit of a wake-up call.
I like that call. I think
Similar to Brody in round one.
I do. It sounds like almost an inside male call, that one.
Certainly not inside male. I think
good idea,
probably the logical selection would be Need. But I'd probably prefer it to be Gus, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the players' names on the bench there, you think Moore would probably be the easy choice. I hope not. I'd like to see Andrew get another full game. As we've spoken about ad nauseum, we really need to see him stand up to the plate and deliver now at AFL level, and I don't think being a sub's probably going to do that.
No.
No, and I think he could go straight into the midfield when he comes on as well, whereas I think Needy is more that forward lead-ups player, rather than Gus can do both.
Yeah, I like the Gus call. Yeah, ditto. We're all agreed. Okay, Gus is the sub.
Done. Lock it in.
Want to text that through to Ken for us?
I've been doing it all week, so he might take notice.
Assistant
coach
Macca.
He has been underperforming, hasn't he?
Oh, look, yeah. I mean, as we saw in the changes thread this week, a lot of people thought he should have been dropped. He's probably pretty lucky to keep his place in the side, but you never know. You know, this might be the game where it all clicks for Gus again, and you know he might kick 3 or 4 goals, and you know he gets that confidence back into his game.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, sitting on the bench, itching to come on. I think that's a good idea too.
Yep. It's going to be quite an interesting game, I think. You know, we've gone from basically being the two most interesting and exciting sides in the competition to both sort of falling to pieces over the last couple of months. Gold Coast are 3-7 in the last 10 games with 4 and 6. You know, Gold Coast are still playing for their finals. You know, they're not out of it. They need to keep winning, and we need to keep winning to make top 4. So it's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, they've got some good players, no doubt about it. Good lineup from what I can see, really.
Well, Harvey Bennell's going to have to be one to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, he tore us apart last year with around about 30 touches and 3 goals at Footy Park. Their midfield is very, very good. They're probably lacking a better ruckman. They've got Gorringe in at the moment. Both their key ruckmen are out injured. But their midfield is fantastic. You know, Jaeger O'Meara, Dion Prestia, Kolajasny, Stanley, Harbrow. I mean, it's a fantastic midfield. Probably the best young midfield in the league, in my opinion.
So why aren't they firing on all cylinders at the moment then?
I think they might be pretty tired,
Yeah.
and they're not used to being without Ablett. They have kind of struggled without him in the side, and they still are a very, very young team.
Yeah, no
Well,
doubt.
it sounds like all familiar reasons for our fantastic side too, really, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. And they have had
Yeah.
quite a few injuries to their key players. I mean, Matera, Thompson, Dixon, Smith, Nichols, Lonergan, Martin. I mean, they've all missed games, quite a few games.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both pretty similar in
Yeah,
that regard as well.
Yeah, and I think our supporters, because of our fantastic start during the year, our expectations have got little bit bloated in where we were expecting our club to go, and I guess I sort of got sucked into that as well, but I guess I'm a little bit more objective and can sort of read between the lines, I guess, but I can also understand the supporters that are disappointed with the drop, but. I'm hoping from what we saw against Sydney, there was a lot of positives to come out of that game, and I'm really expecting that to flow on to this game. So even though, Macca, you pointed out that they've got a very strong midfield, I'd be hoping that our midfield should be able to return fire and actually get on top for this game, especially with Lobbe in the ruck. He should be able to get on top there too.
Yep. I think we've got more star power in the midfield, and that's where we will hopefully get it done. And as you say, Lobbe in the ruck against Gorringe, you would hope that he would dominate that matchup.
Could Gorringe be maybe a trial run for 2015 with Port Adelaide?
Well, he might be, yeah. I think he's got another year on his contract left, so we would have to trade for him. But you never know, yeah. He's certainly been a popular option on the forum, I think.
He certainly chose to stay with them the last time his contract ran out, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
So it's a good thing that if Pittard isn't the sub, I'd say. I think he's a very underwhelming sub, Jasper.
No, it backfired on us last week.
Yeah, it did a bit.
Yeah, it
because, look, McGlynn and Cunningham tore us to pieces, really. And we did need, with Impey out of the side, as we said in the review podcast, we really did need Pittard out there. For the whole game, I don't really think a back flanker like that is the correct option for a sub. You really want someone that's going to play sort of full-time midfield when they come on.
And that's what Broadbent was when he was the sub, wasn't he? He was a former midfielder.
Yeah.
Who plays half back, but comes on and can play like a midfielder. So
that's right. Yeah.
Jasper's not there.
So
He's a great creative half-back flanker, but I don't think he's a sub.
No.
So the big discussion point for the last month and even most recently has been our forward line. What are we looking for this week from our forward structure? I guess in play, not just delivery into the box, but overall, I guess, because we've got a defensive structure now from the whole grounds perspective and a forward structure. So what are we, as supporters, what are we looking for this week?
What I've got my fingers crossed for is midfield dominance. I think if we dominate the midfield, we can have a proper forward structure. We can leave some players deeper in the forward 50. We can have the flankers play on the actual flank. As I said in my review and on a couple of the other threads, the issue is that when we actually start losing the midfield, which we have done consistently over the last couple of months, we are forced to play extra numbers around that ball to win that stoppage. And therefore everyone has to push up the ground. I don't think we're doing that by design. I think we're doing that through necessity. So if we can actually dominate the midfield this week, I think we will see a more traditional forward structure. We'll see some players actually leading towards the ball instead of always having to run with the flight. And I think we'll be much better off for it.
I think, we need to win those centre clearances, don't we? Just win our fair share of those. And so, we've got the ball directly going straight into our forward lines.
That's right. And that's probably the part where Lobbe in our midfield really struggle the most, is that when it's 4-on-4 in the centre square after a goal or a quarter time break, that's when they seem to struggle. We've lost convincingly the centre clearances over the last 8 weeks, but we've actually won the stoppage clearances around the ground, and I think that's because we do actually add a bit more congestion and put more numbers around the stoppage in that situation.
Yeah, I think we'll see Robbie play a fair bit in the midfield yet again.
Yeah,
and he can help in that area.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you? I mean, after the game he played last week, I mean, he should almost be a full-time midfielder now anyway.
Well, he pretty much has become that since halfway through the season. He's not really spent a lot of time up forward in the last sort of 8 to 10 weeks, I don't think. I kind of feel sorry for... I know that guys like Wingard and Monfries have had an extreme amount of criticism over the last 2 months, but I do feel sorry for them in the role that they're forced to play. I think they're forced to play a bit of a role that's not really suited to either player, and it's really damaging what they're good at. And what they're both good at is running towards the ball, getting a break on their opponent, and being able to mark inside 50 and either having a shot or finding space and being able to manoeuvre around them and find someone else inside 50. And they're not able to do that at the moment because we're forcing them to play up on a wing and running back with the flight of the ball. And I don't think either of them are all that good at that style of play.
Yeah, when was the last time Schulz took a chest mark on a lead? I can hardly remember any of our
When's the last time anyone did that?
Yeah,
it's weeks.
So, yeah, I think you're exactly right. Win some of those centre clearances, and we're just about there. And as long as we, get all the basics right as well. Stop handballing at people's feet or just behind them or kicking, over the top of someone's head. If we can just get those basic disposal skills up to scratch. And also, I think we're squibbing a bit sometimes because we're so exhausted chasing that we only do a half-hearted chase rather than, go 100% full force at the ball and the player. And, so if they do fumble, they've got plenty of time to, recover and get away with it. But if we were going full speed ahead, I think we could actually, and ferociously tackle. I think we need to get back to doing some of those basics right, and it'll all just start clicking together.
I think that's coming back, though. I mean, I watched the first half of the Sydney game again last night just because I wanted to watch the Franklin free kick over and over again. And our defensive pressure... Yeah, I am a masochist. But our defensive pressure was definitely coming back in that game. And I mean, to go back to the forward delivery, I think our midfielders need to be a little bit smarter with their delivery of the ball as well, and maybe position it so the forward has to work a little bit more. We seem to just be taking the easy option, like when we do have the player running back towards goal, of just kicking it long, hoping they'll run onto it and get it and kick the goal. And, one thing I watched with a few other games of the AFL on the weekend, a lot of teams are playing what we are, like pressing up high and then running back. But there was a perfect one with the Crows where the midfielder actually waited the kick. Even though Walker was running back towards the goals, they still waited the kick in front of him. So he actually had to turn back around, lose his opponent, and actually still mark the ball on the lead. Whereas we don't seem to be having the courage and conviction to do that, and we're just bombing it long and hoping that our player gets there first. So we need a bit more smarts with the delivery, and we've lost a little bit of that courage. We spoke about going to the pockets and everything else. So in a way, I really hope the weather doesn't influence the game too much. So as supporters, we can sort of see that our players are actually starting to get back to that proper offensive and efficient game plan with delivery. And I guess the other part that I'm interested in as well is, our defensive players have actually been fantastic while Jackson's been out. And what I'm hoping for is they can continue that. Do you guys think that Gold Coast can stretch our defensive group this week?
Well, it's a good segue. It's exactly what I was about to bring up is, where does Jackson Trengove play this week? Do we start him up forward again or do we play him down back? They've obviously got their three tall forwards in the side in Tom Lynch, who's been in fantastic form all season, Sam Day and also Charlie Dixon. I think someone on the forum said that Josh Carr intimated on radio this evening that we can expect to see Trengove play up forward again. But I'm not too sure if they're playing those three tall forwards up there. I'd much prefer Jackson to play down back.
I think he'll go there for a little while at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he'll stay back as well. Yeah, I think
I'd much prefer Tommy Jonas to play on a Richatelli or a Timmy Sumner, someone like that,
Yep.
as opposed to have to play on a 199 centimetre monster again.
But I wouldn't mind if occasionally both Lobbe and he are in the forward line while the other's rucking. Not just being on the bench, but occasionally being up forward as well. Just so there is a bit of a get out kick, just occasionally, straight down, to the forward line or even to the goal square.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't want to start flirting with his form either. He's been good for us as a key defensive player with a part-time role in the ruck, and we've seen a history of players where we've started to take them away from a set role and then flick them somewhere else, and then the form can become a bit iffy. He's a great player and he can probably adapt and do it anyway, but we do need that extra tall presence. So if it is for this season that he is filling that bit of a role and our defensive group is able to fill that void, well, so be it. Because I'd be a hypocrite if I said I didn't like it, because I've been calling for him to come play centre half forward for us anyway. So, I do like him up there just for his physicality and that marking presence. So, you got Cam O'Shea, Alapate, Homch. But with 199 centimetre forward, you'd have to think that Jackson would probably have to be the key target there. But if there's monsoonal rains, I guess that might offset that need to have that there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
That we will.
We shall.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, do we see this as a danger game? How frightened are we of this game? Because, look, as I said earlier, Gold Coast, they'll be gunning for a win. They really need to win.
Every game's a danger game, Macca. You know that.
This one is the most important game of the season now, isn't it?
It is.
No.
I do agree with that, because I think if we lose this, we are absolutely 100% cooked. If we win, we're still a big chance to turn the season back around and make top four and see what we can go from there.
Yeah, but again, we've got fate against us, boys, in relation to weather. Collingwood, we've had illness. Last week we had the friggin' top side who's in good form. And this week we're going to probably have atrocious weather conditions, which again's not really going to give us pure reflective indications of where we are form-wise. So it makes it really, really hard to judge. So,
but last week was a good dress rehearsal for this week.
Absolutely.
A bit of rain, really tough opposition, and a game of contests. So I think we should hold us in good stead.
I think they just need a good solid win, a good 6 to 8 goal win, comfortable, just to get the confidence back. It doesn't matter how it happens, just so long as it happens. If they do that, they'll get the confidence back.
I'll tell you what, you don't want to be lacking confidence coming in the week after against Carlton, because that's going to be no gimme.
No, absolutely.
And what I hope is what Ford bangs on about, which Warren Treadray banged on about in the paper, and we bang on about as well, that if it is pissing down with rain, that we're not watching a game plan where we're still trying to play the same game plan from dry conditions in the wet. Everyone's right. We need to be playing just fast, kick it down the line or whatever, and just get the ball moving forward and be tough and hard around the contest and get the ball and move it forward again. If I see us in monsoonal rain, bloody trying to flick a 10-hand pass chain together, I'm going to pull my hair out.
We all will.
If I had hair, I would probably pull it out as well. But
We got your chest hair.
that's true. Yeah.
Pull that out.
We'll probably hear the squeals from from the other side of Adelaide.
Indeed.
With Tango. Where is she?
Where is Tango? We haven't had a Tango moment for a long time.
Well, everyone's been well behaved. Haven't needed one.
True.
I've even
Put a stop to that.
brainwashed the masses now that no one's really hanging shit on Jasper Pittard anymore. It's taken me nearly the whole season, but I've got there.
I don't think that's you. That's Jasper. He's
No, I'm
playing
taking-
well.
Harold.
You'll take
He is-
some credit. Yeah.
He is playing well. But
He is.
well, that's a key criteria for me. Smart play in wet conditions, if that's what we're getting.
Yeah, we need
Right.
to play brutal contested football. Let's do that. Let's be the attackers again. Let's not
And
worry
sure.
about being the hunted. Let's be the hunters. Let's do what to Gold Coast what everyone's been doing to us.
But
Let
surely
them
the
do the turnovers, and we'll kill them on the turnover.
coaches can't be that stubborn or dumb to try and keep the same game plan wet or dry, surely.
I don't think our coaches are dumb.
No, I don't think so either.
I do think they are trying to implement some things for, not just this week or next week. It's for long term. You look at Geelong, they play the same game no matter what, and everyone knows what they're going to do, but they still win. So I can see that Ken's trying to do that. But you're right, we got to go back to basics a bit and play some wet weather football, hard contested football. Do that first, and get our disposal efficiency up. That's going to make a huge difference as well. And then kick the bloody goals when we've got an opportunity. Put on some scoreboard pressure. That's what we have to do.
Indeed. Well, look, let's jump to our 4 questions. Rick, I'll start with you, mate. Whose time is it to stand up this week?
That's a tough one, mate. There's a few areas where all players that could need to stand up. So, but this week I'm going to say the coaches. I want the coaches to stand up after just our recent conversation. I want to make sure that we see good strategies, good choice of sub, good teamwork from the players, which is going to come back from the coaches, and the right game plan depending on the conditions. So I do think the coaches in games have been a little bit out-coached at times over the last 2 months. So I want the coaches to stand up this week.
Yep. I like that. Harold, yourself?
I think it's time to stand up any Port Adelaide player who has a set shot on goal.
Oh, good call.
In
Very
particular,
good call.
like Westhoff, Gray, Monfries, they're all shaky in front of the big sticks. And, whenever they're lining up for a set shot, my expectation now is that they're going to miss, which is just wrong. I've gone to various training sessions throughout the year. And, these guys now just about every set shot that they have. So it's not their technique that's the problem. They just seem to fold under the pressure in the game day situation unless they're on the run or snapping a goal where they can execute, instinctively rather than dwell on the occasion. I know that psychology of goal kicking is a complex one, but, I just want players who are shooting on goal to show some leadership and embrace the responsibility of drilling the goals, to help establish and maintain scoreboard pressure. It's football. That's what you have to do.
I can hijack this for 1 sec for you, Harold, as well, and say
Go for it.
the other thing I've noticed with our set shots over the last couple of weeks is the Chad actually trying to take too much responsibility over the last couple of weeks with some set shots. There seems to be some moments. Yeah, there seems to be a couple of moments where he's tried to take the set shot and take the big moment instead of maybe trying to deliver it when it's maybe been out of his scope to actually deliver that.
Yeah, when he had that big long shot, he did have an option. I can't even remember who it was. Someone was running towards
Pollock.
the free. Okay, yeah.
It was Pollock last week.
So I agree with that for sure. But, when you're 30 metres out dead in front, just kick the goal.
Nail it.
Yep. It's a great call, that one. I love that. We can't leave it up to the captain every week to kick the clutch goals. For me, time to stand up, it's got to be the small forwards. And that also comes down to the coaches as well. I don't want them to get sucked up the ground. I want us to keep a traditional structure in place. Obviously, the midfield has a role to play there as well. Just so that we can have some legitimate options to kick to inside 50 and some actual leading options deeper forward, as opposed to our players constantly having to mark, with the flight of the ball. I don't want them to get sucked up the ground. And I think if they do, that will play into Gold Coast's hands again this week. The danger man, Rick. Who's it going to be?
I'm going to take Bennell. He's been in good form this year, and he's had a couple of match-winning performances. As you pointed out, he had a great game against us last year up there. So I really want us to keep some very close attention on him this week.
Yep. Harold?
Yeah, I thought Harley as well. I think he kicked 6 against Geelong, didn't he, this year?
He did. Yeah.
It's pretty bloody impressive being able to do that. But obviously, with O'Meara, Swallow, those guys, you think the conditions, if they are going to be wet, are going to really, be suited down to the ground for a David Swallow. So I'm not sure. Who do you think that Kane Corns will go to? Can he go on a Swallow or something like that, or?
Yeah, I would say either Swallow. I don't think he'll go to Pressy. Maybe O'Meara as well. That might be an option.
It'd be interesting to see O'Meara how he could handle a lockdown tag too, because I don't really see too much Gold Coast. So yeah, that'd be a good matchup.
I don't think he might go to Bennell as well. I'm not sure he went to him last year. We might see Kane have one of his games where he doesn't actually tag anyone and just goes through his own bowl.
God help us. he's been a little bit out of form when it comes to disposal delivery the last couple of weeks.
Yes. Well, no time like the present to turn that around. My
Absolutely.
danger man, I'm going to say Bennell as well. He killed us last time with 28 touches and 3 goals. He's super quick, super skillful, can kick goals. As you said, Harold, he kicked 6 goals against Geelong in a match-winning performance. He wins clearances. He's just about their most elite footballer they've got in their side, with incredible X factor as well. He's had big games. He can turn it on. Let's hope he can't turn it on this week.
He won't turn it on.
Yeah. And the key to winning, Rick?
Key to winning is composure, smart delivery, which comes back to composure.
Yep.
Midfield structure, which comes back to composure. And just having composure. I want us to play smart football and composed football. I think that's been our missing X factor for a bit, and I think we've lost that with our recent results as well. So we've lost a bit of confidence with a lot of those close losses. So let's get our composure back, let's get our smarts back, and we should be able to pump out a nice win. And look, based on where our ladder position is in our previous form, we should be able to get a good win.
Yep. Composure on the field, composure off the field. I like it. Harold, yourself?
No, I agree with all of that. I think that's really good. Like I said, I want us to really attack the opposition, tackle ferociously, and concentrate on each and every contest. Make that the most important contest. Not worry about what's going to happen 3 passages of play down. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just concentrate on the moment. Get the moment right, and if that doesn't go right, just keep attacking. Keep giving us our all, and I want us to clean up our disposal efficiency. I think if we do that, have constructive handballs and kicks to favour our players in contested situations, I think we'll win. Yep.
I like that as well. For me, the key to winning is clean entries inside 50. We've spoken about it quite a bit this podcast already. But it all comes down to the midfield battle. I think we should be able to win the midfield. With Lobbe going up against a young ruckman in Gorringe, I think clearance winners are better, contested football winners are better. We've got better run on the outside. If our midfield can win their battle, that makes it so much easier for our forwards to play a normal style of game. I think we should be able to win the midfield. We should be able to win in defence to keep them to what shouldn't be a winnable score. So it all comes down to that forward line, and clean entries inside 50 is something that has really cost us over our losing stretch the last few weeks. And it all comes down to whether we can actually get enough genuine chances at goal that we won't stuff up. So as you said, Rick, again, it comes down to composure.
It does, and it will happen. We'll be composed.
That's it. So much composure.
I'm composed.
So am I. Very composed.
For now.
For now, anyway. Yes. Now, prediction. Who's going to win?
Well, top 4 is on the line because I'm expecting Hawthorn to beat Freo. So we can get back into the 4. So I'm going to say Port, and I'm hoping by 32 points.
Good stuff. Harold?
Yeah, as long as our team isn't hit with a bout of Asian bird flu or some such exotic disease, I think we should win it. So I reckon about a 3-goal win.
Yep, I like that as well. So long as we don't get Ebola virus, I think we should win by 47 points.
Nice. Well, swine flu is going through Adelaide at the moment, and we've been pretty unlucky.
Don't tempt fate.
Yeah,
Rick.
stop it, Rick.
Cheer the black and the white. Honor the magpies day and by night. Live that loyal.
Let's move on and talk about the SANFL. It's Port versus Norwood. The old crew there at Alberton this Sunday. Last time we met, it was in round 1 with a disappointing start to the season where we lost by 19 points on that Thursday night, I think it was, at the parade. It's 1 versus 2. It should be a ripper. Hopefully a massive crowd at Alberton. Can we find our form back?
I certainly hope so.
Me too.
The thing
So
is,
what
you know,
happened
we win
last
this, we've got the minor premiership wrapped up. Because I expect both Port and Norwood to win their last minor round games against Glenelg and Adelaide respectively. So
Yep.
it's a very important game.
It is. And look, Norwood's in fantastic form. They've won 7 of their last 8. We've lost 4 of our last 6. So we might be up against it.
Good inclusions back in the league team, though.
Very good. Yep. It's
Yep.
great to see Johnny Butcher back. I honestly wasn't expecting to see him again this year with the viral meningitis. So it's great to have him back in the side, and hopefully he can have a big game.
Yeah, it looked dire for a while there, so that is great news. And Cleary's back, and there you go.
No, I think the 2 midfield inclusions there in Young and Mitchell are going to be crucial to our sort of victory hopes on the weekend. I think they're both high-class SANFL players, and you would expect them to be amongst the best on the ground.
Paul Stewart's back as well, isn't he?
I think he played last week, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he did. He did.
Yeah.
Well,
So, I mean,
certainly
it's a
the
pretty-
start will.
It's a strong side again, isn't it?
Oh, it is. You know, we've got our 3 tolls back up forward, Butcher, Harvey, and Shaw. You know, we've started to get those players back that have missed a lot of footy this year. So I think we're pretty well playing as good a side as we can possibly have out there at the moment, outside of the long-term injuries.
Yes. I mean, I think we'll match them pretty well, you know, around the ground. It's only the ruck, really. You know, I think Balderstone will probably kill us in the ruck, but we'll be
Yep.
competitive everywhere else. And I was going to say before, we have to start well. You know, we saw what happened against Centrals last week, playing catch-up all game, and Norwood kicked 8 goals against, you know, in the first quarter against West last week, so they're good starters.
Yeah, and look, that's something that was that we were certainly known for up until probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, is that we used to storm out of the blocks and kick the first 5, 6, or 7 goals of the game, and then force the other team to expel all their energy in coming back into the contest. But things have turned around, and in the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, it's been us that have had to really work hard to get back into the contest.
Yeah, it's amazing what injuries can do, isn't it? Across the 2 teams, across the club. I think that's really brought us back to the field for sure.
Yep.
Well, I'm hoping our player sponsor can back up another big game. I was really impressed with the numbers and the apparent influence he had in the game. So hopefully Archie can keep chugging along, finishing off the season strong, and he'll probably get another contract, I'd say.
I think he's guaranteed it, just about. He has, unless there's a huge drop-off, he's been really good this year. There's been big question marks over him, before that, but the second half this year has been very consistent.
Yep.
He's played roles, and he's, picking up those possessions, and he has got a bit of X factor himself, Brendan.
He's kind of followed the same development path as Benny Newton in his 3rd year last year, where he sort of started slowly, and you thought, God, is he going to make it? He might get delisted here, and then he just went bang halfway through the season. I don't know if he got a rocket from the coaches, but both Newton and Archie turned their form around halfway through the year, and look, Archie hasn't really looked back in the last 7 or 8 weeks, and he's been one of our best players in the team on a consistent basis in that time.
Do you reckon we'll get another 40 disposal game from Tommy Logan? He was a bit unlucky not forcing his way in after a game like that, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it is unlucky, but our defence at AFL level is pretty solid, and pretty hard to break into, especially with Impey not able to get back in as well. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good game. You guys going on Sunday? I'll be there.
I've got my mother-in-law's birthday, so probably not.
That means, yeah, I'll be there. Probably not. It's my one and only day off, and I need to do some work around the house. So,
more vacuuming
and getting out with the sheep and making sure they're okay. It's interesting that when we had Jackson on the other week, I got the impression that it's not all doom and gloom for maybe Butcher to come back for finals in the senior side. So if he can really push his claim towards the end of the year, maybe he could sneak back as that third tall for the power. Don't know if it's possible or not, but that was the vibe that I got from Jackson.
Yeah, he believes in him, doesn't he?
He does.
Butch
It's
believed
good.
in himself as much as that.
Yep.
Mm.
As I said on the forum, fix the ball drop, fix the kick. Simple as that.
And that's, Harold, will be good to get your insights after the game, because with that infamous kick from a couple of weeks ago, I really thought you could really see that he's trying a different action. So it'd be good to get your opinion. Please share it on the forum if you do think you can see if there is a bit of a difference in his action this week with his goal kicking, because I reckon he is trying something different now.
Yeah, it's been different every week, just about. That's the part of the problem, I think.
Yep.
But I'll observe closely.
Yes, take photos.
I won't be doing that. We've got, John will be there, or there'll be a few of the guys there taking photos for sure.
Nice.
So, who do you think is going to win?
Oh, look, I would hope Port Adelaide win at home at Alberton against the old foe. I would hope Port Adelaide get up by 5 or 6 goals.
Absolutely. Same here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real close one, actually.
I think it would be good to make a bit of a statement and win by a decent enough margin.
I'd
to put
love
that fear back into the rest of the competition again.
Have them squealing again. That would be beautiful.
Yes.
Calling us
Finishing
cheats
top
and
with
how
power.
unfair it all is. Especially the salary cap cheats. It'd be great to hear from them.
Which ones?
All right, boys. Well, we might leave it here for this week.
Sounds like a plan.
That's it. Harold, thanks for coming on again,
Thanks,
buddy.
Gentlemen.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, always is. Thank you.
And until next time, go Port Adelaide.
Can't Port.
Spears it inside 50. Schultz comes hard. Flicks it out. Boats. It'd be appropriate. The captain. That is gold class. Leadership agrees with Travis Boat. He's better than ever.